Hello, everyone. Welcome to LOCKBEARD Phenomena number 31. Dude, I'm from Earth. What's up, Joe? So take me to your leader. I don't think we have any leaders I'd want to introduce to anybody. Sandra, welcome. Uncle Bones, welcome. Jen, welcome. How's everybody doing? uh, Uncle Bones says to Jen, great show last night. Yep, Jen and Joe. Joe says reptilian shape shifting overlords are coming to take our milk and cookies or something sinister like that. Yeah, you went down a hell of a rabbit hole there. Um, yeah. I don't know. I don't know if I. People watch movies like every time something, even if everything's been done and redone, but in a way, but like the Matrix movies comes out, and then you have like a surge of people who are trying to convince you that it's real. They whatever something clicked in the particular heads of some people, and they want to convince everybody that, oh, this is real. They loved it so much or something. I don't know. I don't know. Sometimes the movies replicate reality, and then other times reality tries to act like it's this something they saw in the movie. It's um Turo Tuber Christie's here, welcome. Ernie's here, welcome. Angel Nolan. Welcome to the chat. Mr. Lee 3PO's here. Welcome. Flying the pirate flag. What if it's all true with Jim Blanton is here? How's everybody doing? Joe says, I think you hit it right on the head when you mentioned V lock. Yeah. Actually somebody beat me to it. I can't remember who it was. But but yeah, I mean that show, was it the 80s or even the late 70s? I remember I loved it when I was, because I loved reptiles and aliens and shit like that. So it was just awesome. Um, Although, I mean, the special effects are kind of stupid, but it was interesting. But that whole idea that, and that's, well, I guess that's part of what my point is. Who knows if these grays people see are real? But they're shaped just like a human. Pretty much. The descriptions are pretty close to human. Sometimes people try to, say, well, it's more insectoid than, man, you people are mistaking. If you're seeing something that's real and it looks like that, it's probably a breed of human. It probably came from right here. Um, Alien life, it's like humans anthropomorphize everything. Everything, this is why there's the whole dogman phenomena. I think it comes out of that. Which I don't know if I want to get into that. Some ideas of what I think maybe part of what's driving the dog man hysteria, if we can call it hysteria, that's gripped some people. There is a psychological condition, I think, connected to it, but I think it's beyond just a condition for humans. Um, I guess I can say a little bit about that. Humans have had such a long history with wolves, which we've now bred into all these breeds of dogs, but they're still wolves. They're the same species. And it would only make sense that we've developed some genetic adaptations that facilitate our symbiotic relationship with them. And we know there's been cases where, you end up with a child having to be raised by the dogs. We usually raise the dogs, the puppies, um, I mean, we hopefully we have the older dogs with us, but it goes the other way sometimes, and who's to say that there might be occasion where you know through some kind of conflict a baby is left with the dogs, and there's an entire tribe's wiped out, but there's nothing left but the baby, and the dog has to raise it and successfully has to. Otherwise, so if there isn't genetic adaptation to that scenario, then it wouldn't have been as successful. It could have been successful because animals raise other animals all the time, but it would have been advantageous for us to develop some genetic adaptations to integrating with dogs, behaving like dogs, and to seeing dogs as if they are like us, family. And you like it, you mentioned the movie Alpha. Hopefully, this ain't too much of a spoiler. It isn't, because I'm just going to say the line. You are part of our tribe now, right? You're part of our tribe now. I don't know if that's the exact quote, but so people are seeing a wolf or a dog, and maybe it stood up on its hind legs, but because they can do it. Sometimes they do it. Um, or maybe it's got its paw up against a tree, and it's standing up to see over the brush and stuff. So someone sees it and they're like, "Oh my gosh, it's a bipedal dog." No, no. And their mind wants to attribute, you know, human features to it. So, I think there's something going on. There's this in psychology. It's called I think it's kinanthropy or something like that. Dog human, where a person thinks they're dog or part dog or acts like a dog, or I think it's just something that has been kind of in the back of our consciousness that's helped us survive with dogs for a long time. But yeah, same thing. They're anthropomorphizing reptiles. So you got an alien species. For one, an alien species shaped just like humans. Okay, it's possible, but just like humans, to the point that all they got to do is put on a latex mask and they look just like a human. Their eyes are, just their their teeth. I mean, everything. No, that's so people saw this show and now they want to try and make it real. Uh, Freaking Ike, man. Sometimes David Ike says stuff is actually kind of legit, and then he says shit like that makes you not want to listen to a damn thing he says. Jim says, got a show tonight at 9 p.m. Eastern, so that would be 8 Central, and 2 a.m. for Mr. Lee there. With NC North Carolina Squatch Watchers. Hope you stop by and check them out. Cool. Thank you. So it's 8 o'clock. 8 o'clock my time. Well, Central Florida Bigfoot used to come on at 8, but I haven't seen him on and, hardly ever recently. So I don't know if he's planning to continue or not. Cheese Freak says hello. What's up? Welcome to the chat. Yeah, the 80s. Yeah. Hydrate. Cheese Freak says it looks like the beard is on the way back. Yeah. Hopefully nothing happens that makes me have to shave again. Jury's still out for aliens. Yeah. Well, I mean, I definitely, definitely think there's got to be intelligent life out there, but you know, the Greys thing, again, I don't know if they're real. A lot of people want to believe that they're real, really, really badly. But I've said it before in here. Like what I think they are, if they look like that picture, they are a type of human. They're not from another planet. There's no way that the first intelligent species or one of the first intelligent species that we meet is going to look almost exactly like us. That picture on the thumbnail is no more different from us than a Chihuahua is from a beagle. Those other two pictures, I mean, yeah, I don't know if you guys know what those are. But, those are much more different from us than Alien there. Angel says, "Hi Jen, good show last night with Joe. It was a fun show. Thank you for your lives. They truly make my day. Awesome. You are welcome, Chrissy. Alpha was a decent movie. Yeah, it was a decent movie. Decent movie. I think it's valuable because I think a lot of people don't think about, like, they just take dogs for granted. Like, where the hell did they come from? Well, at some point we developed a partnership with wolves, and this was a possible scenario that illustrated that for people, so some people might get a better idea of the significance of that relationship. Maybe it helps stir up some more desire in people for us to do to do much better by dogs. I mean, I don't even know how many the numbers are that get killed every year in the shelters, and it's because we don't, like, we do need to control their breeding, like very very close to 100% control of the breeding. In my perfect world, every puppy that is conceived already is on a list of waiting homes. You don't have puppies and then go sit down at Walmart parking lot and try to get rid of them. What you do is what you should do is you should have people who want a dog who get on a waiting list, and then when there's a waiting list long enough for a particular kind of dog, then someone gets that contract or whatever to go ahead and breed whoever has that particular breed. Maybe there's a lottery, maybe it's just distributed equally or fairly. I don't know, but you don't the mating doesn't occur until there is a long enough waiting list to account for homes for every single pup. You're natural, says Sandra the Jen. Um, uh, Jen, she co-hosted with Joe last night. They were going the same time you were last night. Having her on there with me. Jim says there are a lot of sightings of Dogman that argue with that. I'll have Texas Front Porch Channel, who has seen these creatures up close. There are a lot of sightings of Dogman that argue with that. I'll have Texas Front Porch Channel, who has seen these creatures up close. I keep an open mind. Anything is possible. It's all tied together. All I've heard is sightings, though. Like every single, without any, concrete evidence. I mean, we got lots of footprints and a lot more sightings of Bigfoot, and Bigfoot would fit perfectly fine within the known natural history, right? There's no a dog man doesn't fit anywhere unless people start coming up with, well, the government's crossbreeding stuff, and come on, man. Jeez, it gets wild. So, and then it's like, okay, well then, if the government's creating these things, why are they letting them run around loose in the woods? They're bending over backwards to make their fantasy come true. I mean, any of the claims that humans have been crossed with chimps, like, in Russia and stuff like that, where I guess they tried and it didn't work. Because, that's an animal that's very closely related to us. So, a dog crossing with human just isn't even possible, by accident to create such a thing. And then some people actually believe in shapeshifters. So it gets wild. Somebody better come up with some actual evidence. Otherwise, as far as I can tell, it looks like it's just people misidentifying or making a mistake about what they saw. And I mean, sorry to take the magic out of people's world, but Joe says, just remember, Jim, not so open that your brains fall out. Yeah. Mr. Lee says, Dogman could be Sasquatch. Yeah, some people could be seeing a Sasquatch and thinking they're seeing a dog-like thing. It could even be that kind of mistaken identity. But Mark Dobbin says, good day all. We'll be lurking today doing some work in the shed. I believe people are seeing something, I believe, besides Bigfoot, says Sandra. Like the Bone says, all work and no play makes Jack a dull boy. Brian Chewy, go hiking is here. Lockbeard, hope all is well, sir. Good enough. Good enough. Yeah, you too. Jim says, if Bigfoot exists, then why not Dogman? If they exist, it would be a byproduct of the Watchers messing with DNA. See, that's what I'm talking about. Like, that immediately, that would be an assumption to make the fantasy seem plausible. First, there needs to be adequate evidence. I mean, footprints that can be confirmed is something unusual, but it just, I haven't seen that yet. And something that would fit within, what we have in nature already. A large hominid running around the woods is not far fetched. A thing with a dog's head and a human body is very far fetched because there's nothing similar in the fossil record. I believe you say you believe that's where the satire comes from. The satyr comes from, and other so-called myths and legends come from. Well, again, I need to see evidence and stuff like that. Chrissy says, I think we are the aliens. Ancient Aliens was out there with their stuff. They reached on a lot, but I do agree that of aliens exist. We are their ancestors. I don't think that's the case at all. We can very clearly see that humans diverged from chimpanzees around 7 million years ago. It's just absolutely smoking gun confirmed because we have one less chromosome. And people try to say, well, see, how can that happen? Evolution should make more chromosomes over time. Well, no, that's not necessarily the case. In the case of humans, what they found is we have a chromosome that's is really big because it's two chromosomes became fused end to end, and the two correlating chromosomes from the chimpanzee line. You can see the gene sequences on each half of there. Also, you can see the remnants of the telomeres and the centromeres. So this fused chromosomes clearly derived from the chimp line. So the claims out there that we came from aliens and all that stuff is just absolutely genetically disproven. And also, um, looking at the fossil record, we can see the progression from a chimp-like ancestor. Even without the fossil record or the DNA, observing everything that exists right now, we can just see the relationships between things. We can see the morphological characteristics. We can see that humans are a great ape. And as for the Ancient Aliens TV show, I have railed on them in the past. They tried to make everything about aliens and totally sold humanity short. Like I've been talking about, the ancient civilization that got knocked out of existence around 13,000 years ago, that appears to have been so advanced it could create megalithic structures, numerous megalithic structures that we can't. There's no way we could pull this shit off today. No way. And uh, I think they were able to pull it off because they had technological capability that we don't have today. Um, we build with little blocks because it's easier for us to build with little blocks. Why did they? Now, in Ancient Aliens, he did make a point on there that was actually a good point. He said, why did they big with these stupid, gigantic rocks unless it was somehow easier for them to do it that way? Now, I think that's a good point, but it's not aliens that did it. It was humans. Humans totally were able to develop a civilization back then of very advanced technology. And I think it was easier for them to do it because they had a control over gravity. I think they totally had anti-gravity technology. So if you have that, then it makes sense to build out of the biggest rocks possible because it's going to build a structure. It's going to last forever. You only have to cut one big piece. You don't have to cut a bunch of little pieces or make little pieces, or you know that was actually made sense. But Ancient Aliens is a great show if you take out the alien theorizing. It's not even theorizing. I wouldn't even call it hypothesizing. I would call it ridiculous guessing, because there's nothing, not one shred of evidence in that show that proves aliens did shit. What it does prove is that somebody did shit. And if we use Occam's razor, apply some Occam's razor to that shit, we'd say, well, is it more likely that aliens came from light years away and did all this shit? Or is it more likely that ancient man just had a previous civilization that had advanced technology and has been since wiped out? Well, that makes far more sense. It's far more likely. So, Ancient Aliens was just using a gimmick. They were playing off people's desire to believe aliens have been here and have been meddling with us. People's desire to try and come up with an explanation that's more magical or more fantastic than, well, we diverged from apes, we evolved, blah blah blah. That's too boring. And you got people out there who want to believe they're part alien. They want to believe that so badly they will bend over backwards to get their confirmation bias monster fed. Not a shred of evidence for any of that. All the evidence shows we just evolved from a common ancestor with the chimpanzee line. And until people stop grabbing onto this crazy shit and start focusing on what we know, what we actually know, we're not going to be able to find out any new information about aliens or Sasquatch or spiritual stuff. It's going to be a lot harder to find answers to that if we keep latching on to all this bullshit over here, like Ancient Aliens TV show and Dogman claims. I'm sorry, Dogman claims are bullshit until someone can prove to me that they got to have some real evidence. Not, well, I saw one. Well, you could have been mistaken. You could have been mistaken. So sorry to burst the bubble of the ancient aliens thing, but ancient aliens was just they saw an angle and they took it to make money. You know, they knew there was going to be people out there that would eat that shit up, and they made their bank. And it's unfortunate. This is what I talk about. We're pumping money into bullshit instead of pumping money into real science, real facts, real investigation of things. We're just blowing money on all kinds of bullshit, and that's why we're stuck spinning our wheels now on all this stuff. If people want real answers, stop going down these these crazy rabbit holes and buying into this stuff. The ancient aliens could have been here, but there's no evidence that they were, and it makes a lot more sense that humans built all that stuff. And this could be ancient aliens. The whole thing could have been could be a distraction technique, a way of getting people, at least some people, off the right track and thinking, oh, well, you know, humans were too stupid back then. No, humans have been capable of doing everything that we're doing now for thousands and thousands of years. We could have had 10 major technologically advanced civilizations rise and fall during this time. Easy, maybe even more. But, you know, it's really hard for people to wrap their minds around that, you know, because then they're having to think in these long geological terms. People have a hard time with that. Right now, they're like, oh, I don't remember it being this cold, or I don't remember it being this hot. There must be something going crazy. No, your life is very short and insignificant compared to the cycles of the earth. Very insignificantly short. What you remember doesn't mean shit. Where I'm sitting now, at one time in Oklahoma, was covered in it was covered in water. It was under the sea. Another time, it was covered in ice. Temperatures have been drastically different. It's, you know, I want to get to the truth of things, and it's unfortunate that we can't get there because so many people are distracted by these crazy rabbit holes. So much money goes into a bunch of bullshit, and the government appears to be trying to keep us all distracted with a bunch of crap or on the wrong trail. We're not going to get anywhere if we keep on with this stuff. It's just, it's maddening. It's maddening. Mark Dodman says, "Good day, Uncle. I enjoy this type of work, sharpening kitchen knives, keep the bride happy, and also knives I used when in outdoors and fishing use." Huh. There is something or someone out there that are watching us from other planets. What evidence is there of that? I kind of hope there is, but I've seen no evidence of that. Joe says, just think about it, Lockbeard. Canines saved our species, forming a symbiotic relationship with wolves, most likely helped us from going extinct. Very likely that they played a huge role in that. We're just smart enough to be dangerous to ourselves a lot of the time. All my dogs and cats have been rescues either from shelters or showing up at my house. Yeah, sometimes they just show up. Chris says in end time, scary things are going to begin to appear. Could the increased sightings of everything be linked to that? If you believe there's going to be end times, you know, you may believe that. You know, I don't believe that. I don't believe that there's, you know, what end times implies. I don't believe that, um, but I believe shit goes wrong sometimes. I mean, 13,000 years ago, a big freaking rock hit the planet and wiped out a major worldwide human civilization. Some people back then may have been saying, "Oh my gosh, it's the end times," or maybe it's just that every so often a big freaking rock hits us from space and knocks our asses back into the Stone Age. North Alabama cryptids here. Jen says, Chrissy, sorry, missing your comment. No, have thought about it. Joe says, someone asked if Bigfoot can exist. Why can't Dogman? I could answer that, but it would take it too long to do it here in chat. Hey, maybe a future show. I mean, yeah. I mean, it would take a long time to deal with that. Uh, but I think a lot of it would be like my first, like, everyone can't go and actually study evolutionary biology. Like, now, I mean, actually study it. Like, go take at least an introductory college course in it or something. Introductory genetics. Uh, uh, Study the fossil record. Not YouTube. YouTube is, study is what you do when you're looking to become a flat earther or some shit like that. I mean, you can learn a lot. There's a lot of good information on YouTube, but unfortunately, YouTube has been a disaster for logical thought for some people. Chrissy says, I'm thinking about making a show dedicated to Tarot and having different readers on because it seems like everyone has their own styles. And I remember you saying you've read for a long time. And you should, in my opinion, it's a gift to be shared. If you feel led to, I feel like it's your confirmation. Angel says, could a bear be mistaken for a dog man? Yeah, I think some people could have mistaken bears for dog man. Sure. Similar snout type bears can stand on two legs, even walk that way for a short distance. Yeah, absolutely. Joe says, Lockbreed, you absolutely need to come on my show. We could have a great discussion on anthropology. Oh, yeah. 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 North Alabama Crypto says, Lockbreed can't watch you on TV, just black screen. Huh. Am I too dark? Might be just too dark. Lemurians, ancient race destroyed. Oh, people like come up with these different names, but I don't think we have enough information to know for sure what they called themselves. We could probably call them whatever we want, So, and there may be some reference out there that it has a fairly accurate name for them, but because some information survives, it's lingering around in the human consciousness somewhere. Because as Collider knows as well, everyone reads differently. It's a good idea for a show. Do you write in guidebooks? I always feel they were a distraction from developing the intuitive side. Chris says, but some do. I don't judge them for it. North Alabama says, in the Book of Enoch, the Nephilim was breeding with all the creatures on the earth and the water. Yeah, but Book of Enoch could be a load of garbage too. Where's the evidence for any of that? Where's the evidence that Nephilim even existed? Jen says to Chrissy, no, I look at it when I get a different deck, then put it aside and see what the cards feel like to me. Awesome. That's why I do a read through and to get better for the creator perspective. North Alabama says Noah's second son Ham and Japheth was the ones who told the story we hear today all about the hybrid creatures. Mr. Lee says, we know there are unidentified craft flying around. So who is flying the unidentified craft? Well, you and I don't know that. The government says they don't know what they are, but I think the government knows damn well what they are. Because the government always lies, man. They're not going to tell us all the information they have. Like, people were expecting this big disclosure to happen, and it didn't freaking happen. All they did was say, we don't know what these are. Well, I don't know is not much of a disclosure. And coming from the government, it's probably a damn lie, like everything else. So, but who's flying them around? They could be. There could be aliens. It could be our own government. It's some of their advanced tech that they don't want us to know they have. Some people suggest they got that tech from aliens, but I don't necessarily think that's the case. They could have it just could have been developed by people recently on the government paycheck, or they could have gotten it from leftover technology from the ancient human civilization that I was talking about. Or it could be some people, maybe that ancient civilization didn't die out entirely and they still exist, but they're kind of in hiding. And those gray aliens are them. They're not aliens at all. They're just a breed of humans. That's a possibility. But we don't know anything for sure about that. Hello, Chumpy Bear. Joe says, well, Mr. Lee, you can't just jump up to aliens. UFOs are just that. Unidentified. It's in the name, bro. Tony's here. So I believe there was a prior Earth age before Genesis. Jen says to Chrissy, that always helps. Chrissy says, I think Ancient Aliens was a build up to something to come. I think there are true UFOs and there are the ones the government are disclosing, which I believe is just continued tech from the Nazis. Could be. Just found out it was a whole conspiracy with Project Bluebeam, but I do feel like the government will try to trick us in some way. No evidence, just feeling. End times are happening. If you say so. and after the rocks land, the ancient civilizations build huge pyramids in those locations. They kind of do, though. What? No, I'm saying those pyramids were built before the Younger Dryas impact. And they're everywhere. They're all over the earth. And most of that civilization's under the sea. The sea level rose 400 feet as a result of that catastrophe. And humans tend to live near the sea. So there's no reason to think that the ancient civilization wasn't the same. So most of the structures are under the sea. And they're starting to already find stuff in the sea. We know very little about what's under the water once you get under a couple thousand feet. We just don't even know. And the land goes up and down too. So no matter where the sea level is, that land that was once a couple thousand feet higher would have been above the sea level thousands of years ago. And then you got Antarctica, where we have the ancient map that seems to indicate that it wasn't an icy continent at the time, but now it is, and different areas were covered in ice than what we would expect based on where things are located today. And it's not something that can be accounted for by continental drift. Continental drift hasn't happened that fast, but something else, which I don't even want to get into that right now. Something else I think happened, but we need more evidence that can happen before we do that. But no, those pyramids were built before the Younger Dryas impact occurred. That was a major civilization that did all that. Mr. Lee says there are some encounters where Sasquatch and aliens have been seen together. Well, so people claim. So people claim. Remember, these are just people's claims, right? You know, we got to be careful to remember that some of the claims may be real, sure, but there's no evidence of any of the claims or most of the claims. Sometimes there's evidence with it. Maybe if they had some video evidence that we confirm wasn't faked or CGI or anything like that. So when you get claims like that start getting more into the ridiculous factor, we need to be even more skeptical of those. Yeah, it's just walk it back to, what's reality actually like that we experience every day, and then try to go with a hypothesis that's closer to the reality that we know, instead of jumping from, Bigfoot just a race of people that stays in hiding, to they're aliens like Johnson wants us to think, that jumped through a portal and he helped save them and all this bullshit. See, the people that get mad at me for saying this stuff are the people who, we're kind of identifying who are the people who want to live, they want their fantasy to be true. They don't want to hear anything that doesn't confirm their bias. That's the difference between them and the people who want to actually find out what's true. We get the truth by first coming up with a hypothesis or an educated guess that makes logical sense, instead of jumping to, the crazy stuff, the woo. Got to be careful about that, because you start doing that, you're going to skip right over, well, what it probably really is, the most logical answer. And you'll be out there looking for portals and shit instead of looking for, a very reclusive tribe of people. Might have something there. Old Troy might. What did he say? There's a prior Earth age before Genesis. Yeah, if the events of Genesis, because I don't believe it literally like a lot of people do. I think there may be some little facts in here and there that are actually pretty close to the truth, but because to an extent there's some amount of history in there, but if you think that refers to a time thousands of years ago, it may be, but the story I don't think is anything like it actually happened. But yeah, before those events, yeah, there's going to be a long history of humans doing a lot of cool stuff. Because just scrolled up to Troy's comment. I agree. I think the end times have happened many times. Arg, says Troy. Chubby Bear says, being a bear, I have certain connections. And this is straight from his mouth. The Wolfman changed barbershops and got a terrible cut and ended up looking like a terrier. Didn't give me my card. Joe says, not to offend anyone, but there is no evidence to support the existence of God, gods, angels, demons, and etc. Angel says, what about Molly's doll? He didn't have any pockets. And said he was going to let it grow back out. You got me there, because that thing is creepy. Drain the oceans. That's what we got to do. Well, tell the flat earthers, you say, hey, you guys believe there's an ice wall. Go chip a hole in that sucker and drain the oceans off. I agree that thing would be put away. Joe, maybe for you, no evidence, but I believe without seeing, says Sandra. Christy says, Lockbeard, does inner Earth exist? Are there openings at the poles? Could you entertain that theory, or is that a hard no from you? Haven't seen any evidence of that. I've seen people trying to claim that they've, altered the images, the Google Earth images of Antarctica and all that stuff. But, again, they're just, people want to believe there's an Earth. Now, are there lots of cavern systems? Sure. Yeah. But the idea that the Earth is hollow and is, at this point, there's just no evidence for it. Now, I've done a live stream talk about, how there may be a possibility the moon is hollow, but that's, because it may be an artificially constructed satellite, a colony or a ship or something, space station. There's a few things that seem to indicate that may be the case. But the Earth, no, I haven't seen anything that would indicate that to me. No evidence whatsoever for that one. But there could be a lot of stuff in some of these cave systems. I mean, there's entire ecosystems in some of these, because there's, they're cut. The rock is, weathered away by the through water flowing through fissures, turns into cavern systems, and entire ecosystems full of specialized species exist down there. Joe says, I'm afraid to do anything with it, Angel, like put it in the far garage, because if it showed back up in the house, I'd be done. Going to be funny farm. A skeptical advisor now. Well, that's what I do, I guess. I entertain some things that some people won't entertain, though. So, call faith. I cannot go by faith because I search for facts. Greetings from South Carolina, says Danny. Go on and put the doll in the garage and report back. And that is just my bias, says Troy. I'm pliable. That doll needs you. The Bible most evidently has truth, but like with everything else, it's been corrupted and twisted throughout history. Yeah, it's been purposely altered. It's been transcribed over and over because they didn't used to have a printing press, and so there was mistakes made in that way. And then translation from one language to another is never the meaning is never 100% the same. So whatever it originally means is lost. And people that aren't a scientific society aren't necessarily going to interpret things like the way they really are. They're going to interpret things, well, there's some magical shit going on here, and then you end up with many of our religious texts. Need locked in glass case or something. That dog gave me bad vibes. Jess Sports here, welcome. Lee says, I'm getting more and more confused every day. Joe says, that doll angel is becoming the bane of my existence. Nikki's here. The hoax destroyer herself. Why was the moon ringing, says Mr. Lee. Yeah, it's a very good question. Tom Cruise will save you, says Jen. I don't think Mr. Lee believes that. Mr. Lee says, Jen, he did offer me a special seat in his spaceship. Yes. Danny says, yeah, I'm LOL at the flat earthers. They say the earth is flat. Then in the next breath, they're talking hollow earth theory. Oh my God, who am I talking about? Yeah. So yeah, I mean, if an intelligent species makes it here, like, what I'm saying is, like, those gray aliens resemble, they're humanoid, and they're anthropomorphized if they're made up, or if they're real, then they look like a breed of human. they have to come from Earth. An intelligent species that comes here is going to probably look way more different from us than that. Just the creatures on this planet look very, very, very different. Of course, those pictures in the thumbnail, those aren't intelligent species, but an intelligent species could show up that looks like that, or something so strange and so out of our normal experience that we'd be like, what the hell is that? Doesn't look like anything on Earth. Y'all remember this? Do you know what this is? Lee, be careful. Chrissy says, not a flat earther, but okay. Well, no, I don't think he was suggesting that you're a flat earther. The flat earthers usually aren't talking hollow earth, though. But they're both kind of in the same, genre, I guess, from the perspective of your skeptics, right? I would venture to say hollow earth is even more believable than flat earth. Although I don't believe either one. Yeah, by the time I got your message, which I usually don't hear my phone, so because I never turn the ringers on or anything, so usually I don't hear it. But I didn't see that till this morning, the message where y'all had that live last night. I was already asleep. I fell asleep during Pat's show. That was too late for me. Joe says blobfish. Oh, you jumped the gun, Joe. This is actually from a movie. Can anyone name the movie? Danny says them grays are vegetables from a plant planet, like the giant walking carrot from The Thing from Another Planet movie in 1954. Can anyone name the movie here? A grumpy blobfish. Mr. Potato Head on a really bad day. Yeah, MIB. He calls that thing Bob. He says Bob is a violation of some health code or something. Lord of the Rings. No, it's not Lord of the Rings. I love that movie, The Thing. Yeah, it's MIB. Cousin Dan says, Polly. Welcome, Polly, by the way. And, I mean,
Bob here is a clear violation of Health Ordinance 32.
Yeah, so that thing is their idea of some kind of alien creature, right? And as Joe already said, so remember what that thing looks like. Actually, there's some that look a lot more like it than this picture, but this is what I got. So, just a second. There, right there. That's a blobfish, as Joe pointed out. Looks a lot like that alien on Men in Black. So our best imagination for what aliens look like doesn't seem to go beyond things that already exist on Earth for the most part. That's a real freaking fish that is right here from Earth. Looks like one of your neighbors. Damn. That poor guy. Yeah, that poor guy. Joe says, that's what I will look like when I'm 80. Yeah. So, you got these grays over here that I mean, of course, this thing looks about pretty damn human anyway, compared to a lot of our ideas of what aliens look like. But everything we make alien, we just kind of, it usually is something, there's something similar that we can find living on Earth. Where do you catch a fish that looks like that? It's a deep water marine fish. I don't know if you know what an abyssal zone is. Abyss, comes from the word abyss. It mean bottomless, lives extremely deep, and this it comes from around Australia and New Zealand, but that's what it is. I don't know if anybody actually tries to fish for the stupid thing now. I wouldn't want to eat that. He already looked like that. His name is M. Finch. He's a school teacher. Hey, Mr. Hugh, welcome. And welcome to Mid-South, if I didn't already say it. Blobfish Lake. Australia, New Zealand, yeah. 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 There's all kinds of weird shit down there around Australia for some reason. But nope, not an alien. Not an alien. Let me see if I can pull up the thumbnail. Yeah. So you guys have any idea what those are? Michael Bones, South. Sad looking fish. Damn thing look. You talking about the previous one? Trying to remember the name of that. Trying to remember the name of that stupid fish. See if I can find it. I may not be able to find it. May not be able to find it. Oh, nope, I'm going to find it. I did find it. Awesome. I don't know how I forgot that. Yeah, it's just a spider and a fish, both from Earth. That fish is called a sarcastic, sarcastic fringe head. Yeah, no lizard. That's a sarcastic fringe head fish. Both of them from Earth. Now, if you saw something with a head like that fish, that had hands on it or something, you'd probably think it was an alien. Danny says, so does anyone know why the internet has been going in and out all week? It went out here last night 3 hours and today around 1:30 for almost an hour. Is it going out for a vast number of people? Are they jacking with it? Is the government trying to throw the kill switch on the internet to prevent people from communicating about the protests that are going on? And if it was the government trying to throw the kill switch, why didn't it work very well? why has the internet pretty much stayed on for the most part? Is it because the internet has become self-aware and doesn't want to die and is become too powerful to stop now? Chessboard says, good day to you, Uncle Bones, and everybody else. Yep. Polly says, getting snow tomorrow on my ride, sleeping outside, plugged in nice warm block. It's snowing cash. Mid-South says, that looks like a hell of a like a, never mind. I might get into trouble. You can call it whatever you want. I'm pretty sure both pictures are different kinds of clunts, but jumping spider and a fish, yeah. Yeah. Dan, I'm having the same problem with the internet, says Mr. Lee. Oh, we got our first bot. Here goes the band hammer. Angel says, Danny, whereabouts and who is your carrier? Patty's here. Hello. She says, my internet is in and out all week too. It has seemed like the internet's been funky lately. Mid-South says, how many bots are in this picture? How many bots? I don't know. Sun's been throwing stuff at us, so it could be that. Could just be interruptions from the sun. Danny says, South Carolina, and I'm on the spectrum. Joe says, it's because I started talking about shape-shifting reptilian overlords. That disrupted the internet. They didn't like you talking about them. What up, brother Danny, says Mid-South. Angel says, Spectrum often has issues up here in New York. Bought from Russia. Yeah. Yeah, from somewhere anyway. Who knows where they really come from. It's the doll. It's that freaking doll. See, like there appears to be evidence of spiritual stuff, and the science of like field theory certainly allows for that and explains metaphysics. So, you know, I've had atheists tell me I'm not an atheist, and in a way, I'm not. Depends on how you look at it. Now, to me, it is. But if you ask Ken, is he atheist? He gets mad because he don't like that. He's like this, he's a scientific person, but he calls himself a monist. One, as in everything is one. And that is true. But I wouldn't go so far because by calling yourself a monist, that makes it a religion. And to me, it's still scientifically explainable. It's just not mainstream science is bullshit. It's like, the real shit. So anyway, yeah. So when I've tried to explain that to atheists, they tell me I'm not an atheist, but and I don't know. I mean, what is a real? Because for a lot of atheists, I would say are 100%. It's a religion for a lot of them because they believe that there's nothing spiritual, even though there appears to be some, science and evidence to back up that there is a spiritual. It's a loaded word. Metaphysical is probably a better word. But even though there's evidence of that, and they can't really prove their position, a lot of them aren't scientists at all. but they just don't believe for one reason or another. So it's I do think one needs to be careful with the word atheist to an extent, because that's taken a strong, it's taken a pretty strong stance on the metaphysical when we can show that there is a metaphysical aspect to the universe. It's just so weird that, and most people aren't going to be able to wrap their mind around it, and it don't seem to. You start talking about stuff being non-Cartesian, and then just it's like for a human that's totally locked into a Cartesian existence, imagining non-Cartesian anything is not going to compute for the vast majority of people. Call myself an asshole, says Danny. Patty says maybe these aren't bots, but a message in the language we don't understand. Well, maybe, but they sure look like they are. I mean, they are little links, and where they go, I don't know if I want to find out. Somebody said it's really the really bad stuff that you don't need to be. You don't need to be going there, kind of thing. You really don't. Chessport says Musk supposedly lost 40 satellites this week from coronal mass ejection, supposed. So you're not 100% sold on that story. Sounds like geomagnetic storm. Danny says, so like some creepy guy called me up today, said he found a giant pile of Sasquatch poop. He asked what he should do with it, so I gave him Forest of Monsters address. Oh no. Oh no. Oh boy. Yeah, what do you do with that? Someone says, "Hey, I got a pile of poop from a Sasquatch." What do you do with that? Because, man, someone knows. See, this is the thing. This is the problem with revealing that you're interested in these things. You're gonna get yahoos trying to jack with you. They're just trying to mess with you. He's gonna call you out there, and it's gonna be a freaking cow patty or something, or worse. He took a shit on the ground. And he think he's gonna get a laugh. He's gonna have his buddies hanging around, probably get it filmed too. Someone's got a camera you don't see, and you're out there scooping up some dude's piss into a Ziploc or something, or poop into a Ziploc. Chessport says insurance. Man, I don't know. If it is, this has got to be the biggest case of insurance fraud ever. Yeah. Stop screen. Boom. Get out here. Get out here, you little bug and you little fish. Joe says I don't look for poop. Oh, I don't know. I mean, if I saw, you see crap in the woods all the time. If I saw something, I'm like, I really don't know what probably laid that. I might collect it. I don't know. I mean, I think one should, have a Ziploc bag or two in their in their in their kit, just for such things. If you find hair, though, you're not supposed to put it in a plastic. You're supposed to put it in a paper bag, or an envelope. Envelopes are a good way to do that, I think. And someone said, yeah, don't get the ones you lick either. Like, get the ones that are self-sealing if you're going to do that. Scotty's here. Welcome. Danny says, when I find poop on an investigation, I film it, talk about it, and move on. I don't take no poop samples. Yeah. Yeah, it's definitely a good idea to take pictures and stuff. Like, I think people should do that too, like with footprints. Like, before you do anything, um, take photos. Um, and then probably would be a good idea to take photos and, all this is uh, north from here, south from here, west and east, and then when you put your, like, I don't know how you would go about, like somebody commented the other day, definitely want to take something. Now you're gonna want a bigger one than this. This is only 6 inches. Or a little tape measure or something to show the length, and maybe something else for size comparison. Like, usually you're gonna have a dollar bill in your pocket or something like that, to put beside it and take pictures of when before you pour and probably after you pour your plaster of Paris or whatever you're using. Um, I mean, these are just some stuff. I'm like, because I've never done one. I've never found a print. I just try to, learn from what other people are saying and think about, how to be ready for it. Um, and yeah, I do have some plaster of Paris in the back of the van. I would think it'd be a good idea because you can't, like, that, you know, get some Ziplocs and put, you don't have to necessarily measure it out, but have multiple Ziplocs with plaster and Paris in there, and that way, if the print turns out too big, you can mix up another one. But if you mix up one, you're not mixing up all you got. So have, 3 or 4 bags in your backpack, Ziploc bags, and then you can just pour water in there and mix it in the plastic in the Ziploc. Don't need a bucket or anything. Papa Craig says hello to everybody. Welcome, Papa Craig. Lots of highs going on. Wit in the house. Joe says sample envelopes, only way to go with hair samples. Zippy sweat and can ruin the sample. Always paper. Yeah, that's what everybody says. But I haven't heard anyone say anything real specific about collecting poop samples. But I'm going to guess, just a wild guess, you probably want to use a Ziploc bag for the poop samples. Don't use a paper bag for the poop sample and then toss that in your backpack. just a hunch. That's probably what you should do. Danny says, I find prints a lot. I just filmed them. I try to travel light when I'm in the forest. No extra weight. The gun and ammo weigh enough. Yeah. I've never carried any guns in the woods ever. Even when I was little, I wandered around alone with no gun. I don't see any reason to change that now. Uncle Bones says that's what those $2 bills were for poop. That's a good tip, says Troy. The envelopes. Well, I've seen people in multiple places say that about you don't want to put the hair in plastic. Or you talk about don't put the poop in the paper bag. Don't put poop in an envelope. Joe says put the poop in paper, then put it in a zippy. I don't know why you'd want to put it in paper at all. Yeah, I don't know why you'd want to put it in paper at all. I'd just put poop in a Ziploc bag if it was me, but I don't recall ever finding poop that I thought might be a Sasquatch though. Everything looks like what it should be. You know, the normal animals. Troy says, so don't put it in my pocket then. Yeah, it's probably not a good idea. I mean, unless you're just used to having poop in your pants, then, you know, it may be normal for you. I don't know. Slackmate, aka Wit, says, hit that like button if you're digging the show. Yeah, please hit the like button. Hitting the like button's awesome. Danny Stanton says, after 4 hours of hiking, that 44 feels like it weighs 20 pounds. That's a lot of hiking, Danny. Ernie says, hey, Papa, how are you? And he says, I only bring a gun when hunting or if mountain lions or wolves are in the area or worrying me. Are you really worried about, like, I don't worry about those kind. I mean, I imagine, well, of course, we don't have a lot in the way of woods or wolves around here. We have black bear. I know that. And even though the wildlife department might try to deny mountain lions, we got mountain lions. Now, if we were in grizzly territory, you better damn well believe I'm going to carry a gun in that situation. But we're not. I've never. I've never been in grizzly territory, unless maybe there were some in the area near Castle Rock, Colorado in 1994. I don't think there was much of a chance, but even when I went off the beaten path up in that area, I didn't have a gun with me. Like black bears to me, you know, they say if a black bear attacks you, you just kick its ass, like fight. Like kind of like the opposite of what they say about grizzly bears. And that the black bear will give up because they're usually not that big. You know, well, to a lot of people, they're probably big. You know, you get a 300-pound black bear, you're probably going to have a hell of a fight on your hands. But usually they run from people. And I figure all I got to do is get one good stab with my knife on a black bear, and that sucker will give up. And probably die. Mr. Lee says Ken Walker has a freezer full of Sasquatch poop. Meredith, welcome. She says hi everyone in chat. Hello to you, Lockbeard. Hope we're all doing well. Yep, you too. Jen says poop is worth a double bag. Take no chances. Danny says I don't carry a gun because I'm worried about Bigfoot. I carry a gun because I'm in a South Carolina and I've seen Deliverance. Yeah, I do agree with that. Probably one of the worst things you could run into in the woods in a lot of areas is bad people. Papa Craig says sometimes a young mountain lion will check to see if it can whip you. Wolves might try to lure my dogs away from me. I don't remember like how big your dogs are. Like if I had a Chihuahua, I probably wouldn't want to take it in the woods. Freaking owl might pick that bitch off. from not watching. A bobcat might be able to. A coyote. You know, Chihuahuas are so damn small and totally not meant for the wild. um, but if you had a big Great Pyrenees with you, I wouldn't be worried at all. Bring two of them bitches with you. You're probably good if a whole pack of wolves shows up. Humans worry more than animals, says Angel. Yeah. Meredith says the first thing I do is hit the like button before I join the chat. It makes life easier if you get on a routine. Yeah. That's happened to me a lot of times, or I didn't remember to hit it. And I meant to, but I was like, well, I will in a minute, and then you end up forgetting. There's a weird thing about our existence now. Like buttons. If you went back in time to the 80s and said, dude, the most important thing in the future is to remember to hit the like button, they'd be like, what the fuck are you talking about? You walked around the Castle Rock area? Yeah, it's a pretty neat area. I stayed a summer in Castle Rock with a buddy of mine. I came back one day and he said, where'd you go? And I said, I climbed that mountain right there. He laughed. He said, that's a foothill. Which, yes, it wasn't a real mountain. It wasn't like, but it was a hell of a climb. Papa Craig says, I got an idea, Angel. Don't go where other humans are. Yeah, but the damn things are everywhere. They're worse than clunts. Joe says, yeah, with a black, you fight for all you're worth if you have to. Yeah. Yeah, that's what they say. If a black bear comes at you, just fight it, and it'll probably give up. Danny said, I got into it with a 350-pound black bear a few weeks ago. He's at the taxidermist now. Meredith says, Harry Man, hello to you and everyone in chat. Way to go, Danny. Fight hard enough, they will run away. Yeah. I don't know if a nose kick will work like it with a dog. Kick a dog right square in the nose if you can. That'll probably be the end of it if a dog comes after you. Assuming it doesn't like most times when dogs come after me, if I turn and take a step towards them, they run away. It's a rare thing that has happened, but it has happened. Black bears have big teeth. Yeah, they have big teeth, but if he's coming after you, you're going to get to know them big teeth a lot more if you don't fight. So fight. I mean, hopefully, like especially with women and be armed. But like when I'm in the woods, I'm not the least bit worried about a black bear or a mountain lion. Just not. But smaller individuals, women and stuff, are a lot more risk, because they might actually think, I can probably take that one down. Kids, like, never, if you're just, you can't, you got to be careful. You got small kids, just keep your eye on them, if you're in the woods or anywhere near the woods, really, because, man, black bears and mountain lions come into town, some, and they can be pretty sneaky, so people a lot of times don't know they're there. I mean, you'll see some of these funny videos where, a person comes out of a house or something and a black bear is there and there's a camera, there's a security camera that's catching us. There's a black bear there, and the black bear sees a human and turns and runs away, and that human never knew that black bear was there. Labrador retrievers. Yeah, they ought to be able to handle most shit. Pretty good sized dog. Sanders says, to Papa, humans came to me to break in. I had to draw my piece. Paramedics here, welcome. He says, I have a picture of the 400-pound, a 400+ pound one that will take a bit more than a poke to change its mind, I believe, in Northeast Oklahoma. Yeah. Yeah. They've been trying to get them reestablished. Like, I don't remember what year, like 2000, 8, 9, 10, somewhere in there. Like, was the first year you could get a black bear tag in Oklahoma, and I think there was like, it seems like there was like 40 tags available, so it's probably quite a few more by now, I would think. But I've never gone bear hunting, so I've never even seen one. So they're a pretty elusive critter. Joe says, it took me 3 times to write this. With black bear, you fight hard, they will run off if you fight hard enough. Yeah. Yeah, they're not looking to get hurt. Papa Craig, oh, you do have a Chihuahua. Knows to stay right by my feet and under things. In the woods is the only time she never barks. Minnie cracks me up. She's smart and the boss. Yeah. I mean, I think you could, if you have like a couple Labrador retrievers there, them dogs know to look out for the little one. She's part of their pack too. So it might be safe enough if she stays close to you and or at least close to the other 2 dogs, or however many you take. I don't know how many you take. The more the better, I would say, but more towards Lockspur. Yeah. Yeah, I was very, very happy with my Great Pyrenees. She was one bad bitch. But they definitely have a mind of their own. You don't train them, you negotiate. I mean, there's some room for training, but you're saying, look, let's make a deal. But usually you don't have to do much. Like you get a Great Pyrenees because you want it to guard, and you put it in a field with some sheep or some cows, or mine was guarding chickens. I brought her straight home from the freaking shelter. She needed some recovery time. She was sick and needed treatment, and they spayed her. So she needed some recovery time. But I brought her back, put her in the chicken house, and she just knew to look after those chickens. And my friend's family that was living in the house there, and pretty much anything she thought needed to be guarded within a quarter mile. They try to look after a pretty good sized area. It's not really, I mean, you can live in a city. Some people do. Some people even have them as inside dogs, but a Great Pyrenees is best on some acres. It needs some space, and it will kill shit that messes with whatever it's guarding. Mine killed a freaking hawk and left it in the yard. Papa says, Sandra, bummer, but glad you had a piece. I keep mine handy at home. Joe says, How my retracted comments still show up? I don't know. I don't know. Jen says Joe in chat, none, but Lockbeard still sees him. Yeah. Maybe on StreamYard they don't come off. Jen says Joe in chat. Okay, seen that. Oh, gone. Papa says I live here because there are so many places that I never see people, I assume. Several where I only saw 3 in 40 years. Joe says, well, that makes me look stupid repeating the comment 3 times. No, I think, everybody kind of knows what was going on there. Lions and tigers and bears. Yeah. Yeah. I don't know why people keep them things for pets for the most part. It's too dangerous. I know they do it. I know it works. Like if I had the money to do it, there's only one thing I'd be interested in playing around with, but I would not want to be around these things without a gun and probably another person to spot me and maybe some dogs. Is ligers and tigons. I'm kind of interested in those because man, I'm sure you guys know. You've probably heard of ligers, right? A cross between tiger and lion, and like the two are separate species, but they can produce offspring. But it's not normal because of the freaking like they can't all breed, and the growth regulator genes don't line up right? So what happens in a tigon is you end up with a smaller cat, but with a liger you end up with a insanely stupid big cat. Um, so you get a liger only from a male lion and a female tigress, right? And then the reverse is how you get a tigon. So, but there's anyway, it'd just be interesting to play with trying to basically create a new species of gigantic freaking cat. um, but again, there is cases where they can breed back to the one of the original species. So anyway, I'm trying to find a picture of a liger, so that's what I'm doing. Not a good one, dang it. Anyway, they're stupid big. This picture will probably have to do. But anyway, apparently, a male liger can breed with a with a female lion or something like that. But when it's occurred, it hasn't been very healthy. But so you'd have to keep fiddling around and breeding generation after generation, uh, trying to create a gigantic cat breed. So you're probably not going to end up. I don't know. I feel like if you played with the back crossing enough, you could end up with this gigantic cat breed. It just seems fun to me. But you wouldn't want to release it. Apparently, they don't occur in nature either. Like if they ever do breed, they don't survive. I'm trying to bring up a picture of it. Dang it! There we go. Bam, big kitty, real big pussy cat. I have a lot of interest in selective breeding, so I haven't seen any real evidence of it, Mr. Lee of Mindspeak. Joe says I had Chihuahua when he was little, named Chico, and he thought he was 10 times larger than he was. Yeah, we bred those things to be so tiny, we didn't bother to breed into them the understanding that they're not a wolf. It's like they don't. It's like they're kind of mentally deficient. They don't quite understand they're not a lot bigger animal. Pyrenees is wonderful. Chihuahuas have big attitudes. Papa says, yes, Jim, the little dog with the big attitude. Two Danes are cool dogs. Chico. Never met a Chihuahua that was chill, says Jen. Mid South says to Mr. Lee, yes, they are. She belongs to my roommate, but she sleeps with me. Dog made his choice, man. Chihuahuas. A lot of Chico Chihuahuas in the world. Need a lot of training, though. I have two pugs, and they are getting old now. Yeah, there's another animal that was used as an alien in freaking Men in Black. The cartoon, I don't know if anyone, like, I didn't see a lot of that cartoon, but there was like where the Frank, the alien that looks like a pug, took off his costume, and he looked just like a pug, as I recall. Too big to be untrained. Always wanted to sit in my lap. Peter Kane is a very good dog trainer. So they say. So they say. Paramax says always had beagles growing up. They hunt anything you put them on. Very smart, funny, and energetic. You want one of these, Papa Craig, or a beagle? But yeah, I don't know if the offspring. I mean, I don't know. It'd be interesting though, because if you could breed back to the lion with the male liger, and then take that offspring and breed it back to a liger again, trying to get it where it's not going to have that growth regulator gene, and try to make a viable breed of giant cat, just because I think we need something to get loose during a hurricane and start hunting people. No, that's not what I want. I just think it's interesting. Just have a lot of interest in selective breeding and doing some funny, weird stuff with selective breeding. including with humans. Humans need to be thinking about being more careful with our breeding program. Stop proliferating bad genes so much. Jen says I grew up with Weimaraners. One was smart and a show dog. The second one not so much. Now they for the most part can't. Um, like you can't breed like a male liger, as I understood it. Like the female is infertile, right? The male can breed back to a full blood lion though, and they produced like a female offspring in one case, but she was sickly. And let me see here. Yeah. Take that down. See if I can find the account of that. It's in 43, 15-year-old hybrid between a lion and an island tiger. Successfully mated with a lion at the Munich Hellebrunn Zoo. The female cub was of delicate health but was raised to adulthood. And then in 2012, the Russian Novosibirsk Zoo had a liger, they called it, the offspring of a ligerous mother and a lion father. So I guess they can breed, both sexes can breed back to pure lion. The cub was named Kiera. The offspring of a tiger father and a ligerous mother is called a tie liger. So it's weird how it works. It's weird how it works. You have a picture similar to that? It's Weimaraners. Big attitude. My son is loyal to only him. My son's is loyal to only him. Leader of the pack. Mr. Lee says, your first dog, my first dog was an Afghan hound. She would bolt at every opportunity. People used to say we looked like each other. Jen says to Papa, second one was a wild child, used to climb, jump the 8-foot fence in the backyard. Joe says, fun show, but I have to make deliveries tomorrow, so I'll have to jump off. Everyone have a good night. See you soon. We'll see you later, Joe. Thanks for coming by. Watch out for them reptilians. Sandra says, good night, Joe. Just we're not sure I've ever seen a Chewini, but I love the name. Yeah, that's my understanding. Ligers can't breed with ligers. So there's a little bit of a mechanism there, like because with a lot of species that exist where they're so separate, if they breed, they produce these hybrids and this limited fertility, but they can often be a case where the fertility is just fine, and for some reason they refer to them as two separate species, even though technically that's not two separate species. But it allows for gene flow between the two species to some extent. like when we talked about polar bears and brown bears, that happens with them. Polar bears and brown bears can breed just fine, but the problem is a half breed is not going to be fully adapted to either of the two habitats, but of the parent species. So it's going to be less likely to survive and to reproduce. But it does happen. It does happen. But and it just gets reabsorbed into whichever parent species it happens to be hanging out with. And it allows for a little bit of gene flow between the two subspecies. I hate it when they call something a separate species when it really isn't. Papa says, Jen, I had a chocolate lab who could either jump the fence or just open the latch with his nose. I had a yellow one who climbed the fence. Hey, where there's a will, there's a way. We had a little mixed breed thing when I was a teenager. She had some poodle and stuff in her or whatnot. Anyway, she figured out that because the fence was nailed to this big tree and it was up, I don't know, 10-foot tall fence. And so what she would do is she kind of get where that trunk of that tree is rounded right and the fence is nailed to it. She'd kind of get in this space here and put her back against the fence and walk up the tree. And then she'd get to the top and just jump off. That same dog, if a chicken would get out, she'd run and grab it and kind of lean on it because she wasn't really bigger than the chicken hardly, but she'd kind of get a hold of it and lean on it and hold the chicken until we'd come get the chicken and put it back in the pen. She just figured that she decided to do that on her own. We didn't teach her to do that. I guess she saw us chasing chickens whenever they got out and decided she was going to help. Cross opens her sliding doors by herself. Yeah. Had the best chihuahua on the planet. He's more like a cat behavior wise, but he does have little dog syndrome. Cross between Chihuahua and a Dachshund. Uncle Bone says we had a Saint Bernard who would run through the sliding glass door. Yeah, imagine a Saint Bernard can go wherever it damn well pleases. Chess never had seen one. Papa Craig says if Fifi was in heat within a quarter mile or so, my male lads would get out if they had to knock me out of the way. I had a dog named Fifi when I was little. Chessboard says, "Oh, Bones, I tell everyone I had a St. Bernard and got rid of him when he ran out of booze, but I fibbed." Oh, boy. So, I wonder if Central Florida is going to be on tonight. Kind of wondering what his plan is going forward. I see the Lost Cryptids Conservatory is coming on at 10. Chrissy's live now. And I don't see anybody else. At least YouTube's not telling me. Guess could pull up the guide and see what's happening. Um, Yeah, I don't know if Central Florida Bigfoot's just not going to have his show on Saturdays anymore at all, or what's going on there. Looking here. And of course, I think Jim said he was going to be on at 8, so that's in about 9 minutes. What if it's all true with Jim Blanton? Trying to get the freaking guide going here. It's taking forever to load. So what is it? Saturday? Yeah, still got Central Florida on there at 8. Creepy Little Book at 10 p.m. Central Time. Paranormal Portal at 9 p.m. Central Time. Spaced Out Radio at 11, like always. Talking Weird on the Talking Weird channel is at 11 at Central Time tonight. UFO Man live on the UFO Man channel is on in 8 minutes. And What the Paranormal is supposed to be on at 8, which is in 8 minutes. So there's some options. There's some options for y'all. Chessport, I bet it's a cute dog. Yeah, he hasn't been lately, so I don't know if he's planning on getting back on a regular schedule or what, because Chessport says beautiful dog, but only dedicated to my son. Scotty says my dogs are that friendly. They hold the bag open for you while you're stealing my stuff. Jeez. Paramedic says haven't seen Raven's Outpost for a few days now. Did he ever decide on a day or time? Yeah. He had he's supposed to, unless he hasn't been holding to it. He may have been having other random lives and stuff, but he's supposed to have. I'll bring it up here. There he is. He's in the green there. The Raven's Outpost, show name, the Raven's Eye, Wednesdays and Fridays, 11 p.m. Central. That would be 5 a.m. for Mr. Lee. And midnight for people in the Eastern time. And 9 p.m. over in California. And I got add 17 hours for Sydney, Australia. So I don't know if anyone from Australia is up in here. I think there is. I do believe. So so it would be 6 p.m. in Sydney, I think. If I'm adding that up right. Squatch Talks podcast. What is it? You know what it is. Haven't seen him yet either, Pyro. He's back on last night. So I guess he's getting back in the swing of things. Pyro says he hasn't posted a show for 5 days and it was a random. The Ravens Outpost? Yeah. So yeah, I don't know if he's just not sticking to the schedule because I thought that's what he said he was doing. Can hear my girlfriend snoring her head off, says Mr. Lee. Papa says his internet sucked. Maybe it's broke. Nikki says, no, it's 3 guys on live right now. Let's Squatch Talks. Is there another Squatch Talk out there? Let me see if I can find this thing. I see there's a channel. Squatch Talks podcast. This channel is a real young channel. They joined in December. So they're only 2 months old, their channel is. And they've only been posting videos for maybe a little bit over a month, it looks like. Yeah, see, this is where people need to know about the LOCKBEARD's YouTube Paranormal Live Stream TV Guide. Because then you can look on there and see if anybody's already got your name. But it's Squatch Talks. And it's got the word podcast on there. So it's not exactly the same as Pat's show. It says it premiered 57 minutes ago. Squatching 101. So is it not an actual live? It says it premiered. That don't count. I found it though. Papa Craig says, too cool, Mr. Lee. Such a comfort to know we have one. Nikki says they are called Squatch Talks podcasts. Jen, you heard from Icon or Michael? Papa Craig, yep. It won't let me chat. I think it's over. That may be why. You might have got on at the, like, just as they were shutting down or something. Chessboard, scene icon and chats. They're live now. Oh, it's not live anymore. That's why. Yeah. Where's Donald Fuller? Where is Donald? Oh, that's right. It looks like they just ended. Where is the guide located? On the community tab? Hold on, Troy, and I'll post the link in the chat here in a little bit. You can also find the address on my About tab. I don't have a community tab yet. I think I have to reach, I don't know what milestone I have to reach with the channel. Like, I can't remember. Like, is it so many subscribers? Or what? I can't remember the exact but I have an About tab and then the address is on there, but I'll post it in the chat here in a little bit. I'm just going to share screen of this new squatching channel, Squatch Talks podcast. Yeah. See what their about page says. It don't say anything. Just that they joined in December. And they got seven uploads so far. So we'll see how that develops. Let me get that link for you, Troy. There, it's in chat now. D.A. Roberts. I'm not familiar with D.A. Roberts, Mr. Lee. Who be that? Yeah. Yeah, but be nice about it, you know. Like, well, I just like because Joe almost used it, you know. I just told him, just for him, because you don't want to be like, if you have two channels that have almost the same name, people are gonna have a hard time knowing what the hell's going on, or thinking you're the same or affiliated, or it's just better to have a unique name, I think, for everybody. For you too, because you're trying to build your own brand, right? Yeah, she's calling her channel TarotTuber Chrissy now. Yeah, I guess she's still figuring out what she's doing, with naming and what exactly they're going to be doing on the channel and all that. Angel says, "Thank you, Lockbeard. This helps when I can't remember who is on when." Glad to help. That's why I made it. I mean, originally I didn't make this for everybody. I made it for myself. And then I let slip that I had made this thing, and people wanted to see the damn thing. And then I was like, well, if I'm going to be sharing it with other people, I might as well, then I need to add more shows to it, make it where it's more relevant to more people. So, like, there's some shows on, like, all the shows on there are live streams. They should have a little bit of chat interaction. There's no premieres. I don't like premieres. I want the host on the screen, or at least talking live with people on the screen. And then they don't have to talk to the chat as much as I've been, which it's going to be harder for me to do this going forward. There's so many chats, but but so I started adding all the shows, and I put this on myself that I needed to be impartial about the shows on there. So if you look on there, Dogman Cams is on there. I don't like that son of a bitch. And for a number of reasons. I don't recommend Bigfoot Odyssey. I haven't made that a secret. It's like so some of those channels, I don't think anyone should watch them myself, but I'm being fair about that. Like, I'm going to say whatever the hell I want, but as far as the TV guide goes, since I'm sharing it with everybody, I'm going to try and be as impartial as I can about who's on it. If they fit the basic criteria, paranormal subject matter, live stream, then I'll put them on there, even if I don't like them. Damn, it looks like chat flat out stopped. Well, I think I need to find, hold on a second, since I'm looking at channels. Where's it at? Well, is this it? This ain't it. Well, but what if it's true? I'm trying to find his channel. He said he was going live. Well, Miss Lee says he just subscribed to her channel. Angel says there's only a few I watch. I tried some and left after 5 minutes. Yeah. A lot of them you're not gonna like. Not exactly what you're looking for. Download the guy before. Will that update, or should I get it again? You don't want to download it, because it won't update, because that's a file on your computer. You just want to bookmark the link and just put it on your. I always keep my bookmarks bar open at the top, so all my bookmarks are right there for me to get to. So you want to bookmark the link, because when I update it updates it at the link almost immediately. But if you download it on your computer, I have no access to your computer, so it won't update there. So you're just wasting space on your computer, really. So you probably just want to delete it and then bookmark the link. Gosh, we ran out of things to say. Well, that's all. I didn't. The chat kind of stopped there for a second. Life is a flyaways here. Says ahoy, Captain. Danny says Caucasian Sasquatch is on now. Is he on your list? No. Does he have a regularly scheduled live stream? Is it on a certain day and time every week? Let me see if I can find that. Well, I'm not seeing it. Is the name of the channel Caucasian Sasquatch? Because it's not coming up in the search. Well, I just tried to do a search for it and I don't see it. It is on YouTube, right? There's not much to tell. He just saw a ghost on a bicycle, man. Yeah, there's not much to tell. Then he says search Sasquatch Shills 12. Okay. I'll try that. Okay. So now it don't bring up anything that says Sasquatch Shills 12, but it does bring up Caucasian Sasquatch. But why didn't YouTube bring this up when I searched that word? I mean, I see it's got a capital A in the middle on the Asian part, and it's not the first result even on this one. The first result on that was Sasquatch built athletes, whatever the heck that is. But so is Sasquatch Shills the name of his podcast? And it looks like he's on. So he's on the 12th episode of Sasquatch Shills. Is it on every day of the? Okay, this one's today. There's one from 3 days ago, and there's one from 4 days ago. And then 2 weeks ago. And then that says 2 weeks as well, but it all runs together then. I don't know. Just a quick look at it doesn't look like it's on a regular schedule. It looks like it's. Yeah, it's the name of the show tonight. YouTube, I think YouTube doesn't like the name of his channel. What? Oh, is that the link to it? I found it though. Jen says Lockbeard phone, not computer. What do you mean? Not sure what. Oh, you're on a phone. So you're talking about making a bookmark. Gotcha. I don't know how you go about that on a phone. I don't know if you can like put it ends up I don't know if it would end up as like an icon on your computer or something, maybe. I don't know. Or on your phone, I'm sorry. Yeah, YouTube don't promote him because he's an asshole like you. You can search it. I just subscribe. Well, I searched Caucasian. I don't know. Something went wrong. That's all I know, Mr. Lee. Something went wrong. But I found it now. Just bookmark on the phone search. Well, yeah, however you can do it, I guess. I don't however you can do it, I don't know. Man, I couldn't do this on a phone. That'd be freaking. I hate using a phone for the internet. It's like eating a plate of rice with a toothpick. I hate it. Gotta have a computer. But well, I might if he's on. What about Jim Blanton? Because he said he was going live. Let's see if I can find it. What if it's trying to find it? I couldn't find it a while ago. There we go.
Next month who had a run.
Okay, so what if it's all true? I was leaving out all in the name. That's what went wrong, I think. But I found it. Here, I'll bring this up on the screen. He's been in the chat a number of times, and he is live right now as well. So I got it paused, but what if it's all true with Jim Blanton? He is on right now. He made Force the Monsters cry and leave the show. Oh man, that was mean. That was mean. I mean, it's very difficult because you can't understand. I never can hardly understand anything he says. So it's kind of like, how do you have a conversation? Don't know what you do about that. I don't know what you do about that. Well, it looks like there's some options out there. You got your Caucasian Sasquatch channel. You got What If It's All True with Jim Blanton. He's on live right now. Boom.
Face to face, seen one of these things.
He's only got 2 people watching at the moment, so I might go over to that one actually, and see what he's got going on. But we're 16 minutes past 8. I really need to try and keep her from going 4 hours like we did that one night. Yeah, Mogs is very patient with him. Chessboard says, thanks, Lockbeard. Night all. So, thanks for reminding. See, I forget. I things like that. Like, I need reminders. I can put a link in there. So yeah, there's a link to. Thank you, Nikki. There's a link to Jim there. And Life says, why does Jim Blanton sound familiar? Well, he's been in this chat many times. I'm sure he's been on some shows somewhere. But there's the link. Anyway, so I'm going to wrap her up. Thank you all for coming. And I know I've been on a long stretch of daily, but I'm probably not going to keep doing that. Sorry, Mr. Lee. But that's a lot of. Plus, I've spent a long day these recent days trying to get shit lined out, as for the channel and putting it on other, on Rumble, on BitChute, and Odyssey. Almost got all of the Phenomena show, or all the live streams of Phenomena on BitChute. Got one more to do. It's going to take a couple hours to get it converted, and I'm still not sure it's going to work because it's the other one I had to do that to. Still, well, last I looked a couple hours ago, it hadn't processed or something for whatever reason. It's having to do something, and so I'm thinking it's probably not going to end up working. So I don't know. I got 2 episodes there's going to be a problem with, but and then it's going to take a while to put all the earlier random lives BitChute as well, and then everything has to be uploaded to the other 2, to Rumble and Odyssey. So that's going to take a while. I can't do it here at the farm because it just I haven't got enough juice on this Wi-Fi, so I got to go somewhere where there's more juice. It's got more balls on it. It's on someone's show recently. Yeah, I think so. You're welcome, Uncle Bones. Good night. Good night. All right, everybody. Whoops. Remnants are getting your subscribers though. I know I just can't like yeah, it's just a lot of time, and I got a lot of stuff to do, and I mean I'll probably do 'em more than I have some weeks, but every day is a lot, and I mean part of the reason like a lot of people like I need short videos, like short video. A lot of people that that it's a a lot of people like short videos, which I kind of been planning on doing something shorter, but like just random stuff that's real short that brings in subscribers. So, um, but the one right now I'm just getting those super high quality subscribers, right? But I mean, I hear you, Mr. Lee. It is, you know, it'll be easier to justify the time when the channel's monetized, because right now it's a drain on money. So I'm sure you understand. Happy Valentine's Day. Good night. All right. Thank y'all. And I will see you next time.